Welcome to the Raw and Real of Real Estate podcast, powered by LPT Realty, Real Estate Reimagined, with your host, the one and only Betsy Tinnervin. On this podcast, we bring you people who share their personal journeys in life, business, and of course, real estate. Get motivated, inspired, and priceless information from entrepreneurs, community leaders, and realtors who are thriving. Now let's get raw and real. Here's Betsy.
Welcome back to the LPT All-Star Radio Show. I am your host, Betsy Tinnervin. We are powered by LPT Realty, friends. Thank you to all of our religious listeners that tune in every single weekend. We love you. We want to also give a shout out to The Bone. We love The Bone as well. So again, we are here to bring you the raw and real of life, business, and of course, real estate. We want to thank Robert Palmer and the executive team at LPT Realty for making this show possible. At LPT, our agents do have the capabilities of excelling their marketing using radio and billboard and TV and commercials. And it's really amazing. I've been in the industry over 17 years, and I've never seen a broker provide those resources. So today, the show is titled Profit versus Loss. But as you all know, I love to bring a little twist. So we're not only going to talk about profit and loss in the real estate industry, but in business, but we're also going to talk about 3 things that you cannot put a price tag on, which is time, personal development, and health. So when you're looking at things in life, business, and real estate, obviously we do everything at a profit versus a loss. And even if that's not a monetary value, what are things that are profitable to us as people? What are things that we do take losses on? And sometimes losses are positive. So we're going to bring you through some personal development today as well. We have a huge event coming up in Tampa that you can just skyrocket your business with. So please stay tuned for all segments. And I have 3 great people here today. Familiar guest, Miss Patricia Lugo. She works the entire Pinellas County. So St. Pete, Clearwater, Gulfport, all of those great places. Been in the industry over 20 years. And we are so happy to have you back. How are you, Miss Patricia?
I am great. Thank you for having me back. I love being here.
I love that. And we have a fresh face on the show today, also with LPT Realty, also works Pinellas, originally from Colorado, relocated 2 years ago, Mr. Andrew Sponder. How you doing, Mr. Andrew?
I'm doing very well. Excited to be here. First time ever doing a radio show, but very excited and looking forward to it.
Well, it may be your first, but it's not going to be your last. Because I will bring you back for multiple episodes. And I love that. And I just love your transparency as well. For anyone out there that has not done anything first, you know, you can't ever see what your results are going to be or gauge, obviously, a profit or loss in your life if you don't just execute and do it. So I'm happy to have you here today. We have Tommy Colonen in the house. He is a familiar face on the show. Huge impact in our Tampa community. He is the pastor at Crossover Church. Crossover Church is a little bit different for all of you listeners out there. They're a very urban church, and they are heavy on the entrepreneur piece. So we actually have Tommy on here today talking about a huge summit that he is putting together in the Tampa Bay area that would be amazing for all real estate agents out there. But I'm going to let him dive deeper into it later in the show. How you doing, Tommy?
It's good to be here. The Innovation Summit's going to be amazing because you are going to be there doing the real estate track, girl.
I am going to be there doing the real estate track. And I'm super excited, really, just that every time you can come on the show, I feel like every agent that's on the show with you leaves with just such great knowledge and power, because really behind your career, you are an author, you've written several books, you've done tons of music albums. So you have this eclectic, just entrepreneurial spirit about you. And so I'm so happy to have you here.
It's good to be here.
So today, again, we're going to talk about profit versus loss. And the first thing I want to talk about is time. So obviously, in a real estate transaction, we have lots of time involved, not only with our clients, but with our vendors. And we walk through this whole process. Obviously, as an entrepreneur, your time. So Patricia, do you know your hourly worth?
No.
And if I had to say to you, what is your hourly worth? What would you say to me?
If I knew my hourly work, I probably quit.
That might be true. But so do you put a price tag on your time?
I do, but I go above and beyond, to help my clients because, like I said, if I had to put an hourly, I'd probably be working like for peanuts. But I mean, I do put a time, price on my time, which is worth a lot. But my clients worth more to me, so I just don't think about the time. But we have deadlines, so that's very important, time.
Okay. And Mr. Andrew, do you know your hourly worth?
Well, I haven't really sat down and thought what my hourly worth is, but I'm in the same boat where I definitely invest the time where I think if I invest the time up front, it really benefits me in the end where I can help my clients. And I can't put a price on guest satisfaction and getting them the house or selling them the house or solving their needs that they have in the real estate business. And that time, you can't put a price tag on.
So I have a price tag for my time and I have an hourly worth for my time just because I feel like when you do know your hourly worth, you can then also generate some credibility and some value and different like things like that in your world. I, however, agree that I would never say this is my hourly worth, so I'm not going to put in time. So I feel like there is a double-edged sword to that question. Tommy, do you know your hourly worth?
It's priceless.
That's
That's a
good
great question. I think the bottom line is like we can always make more money, but we can't make more time. Time is like this limited asset that we have. So we have to figure out how can we maximize that the best. And I've talked about this the past couple months. I read this book called At Your Best. And all of us, we have maybe 3 to 5 hours a day that we're really like one and passionate and plugged in. We have energy. And so that's like your green zone. Then you have a yellow zone when you're kind of like 50-50. Then you have a red zone when you're kind of out of energy. So you have to figure out like when I'm at my best, my green zone, how can I do my best work in that time? And then you're going to maximize your time.
And I also think that the question that I asked is supposed to spark in your brain, like, hey, I've never thought about that before.
Yeah.
Like, do you really sit back and go, do I know my hourly worth? And I think when you look at your hourly worth, you start to decipher where you allocate your time. And then you start to decipher how to delegate in different situations. So, Andrew, what are some situations in real estate that you delegate to other people?
Well, you can delegate the marketing, utilizing the tools that we have to benefit your time so you can spend more time with the client and finding out their needs. Marketing is the first that comes to mind. Any type of advertisement, utilizing the tools, social media that we have definitely benefits you in promoting the product and allows you more time.
I love that. Patricia, when you're dealing with clients and you have like these vendors and all these different people going on, even with other agents maybe that you're mentoring, what are some things that you delegate to other people?
The easiest thing to delegate for me is the paperwork. Like hire a transaction coordinator and they can take care of all the vendors. They can make the appointments and make sure the transaction gets from the beginning to the end, gets closing with. So that frees my time so I can meet more clients because if I'm sitting on the desk doing all the paperwork, I don't have time to meet more clients. So paperwork, transaction coordinator, that's very, very, is the easiest way to navigate. And also the social media, hire a social media, person to do all of that.
I love that. Tommy, you got some stuff that you delegate to other people?
Yeah, in my role, I'm kind of like the visionary. So I get the vision for something and then I got to delegate to some people that are going to administratively kind of like, get all the details done. So there's definitely some details people on our team and you got to learn to work within your strengths. Some people will say, oh man, I got to work on my weaknesses, and we should, but I want to find some people on my team that they thrive in some of these areas where I'm weaker at so I can delegate that and then overall we can win.
But I think that people think because you're a pastor that everything goes perfect. I think they associate
Never.
the two P's.
It doesn't.
And so even in the church world, it's a business and you still have all these tasks that have to get accomplished and get done. And so what I would like to do definitely in the next, session is kind of dive deep into that as we really talk about like that personal development piece. I talked to Tommy a lot about business and just how I structure my business, how I am as a leader. And I think that people just get that very twisted. They think everything's perfect for you.
No, I mean, because people are involved. Churches are in the people business and people are definitely imperfect, including all of us around this table.
Absolutely. So I think that it's awesome that today we're just talking about profit versus loss in our industry. Two amazing LPT agents here. So if you are a buyer looking for how you can get lower interest rates in today's market, you can text my man, Andrew. Andrew, could you throw out that cell phone number?
It is 727-333-5452.
And Andrew will send you his free magazine of how to get the lowest interest rate in today's market. And if you're a seller out there, Miss Patricia has been hustling the Pinellas County market for the last 20 plus years, and she would love to list your home. She has an active marketing plan. So if you want a copy of her active marketing plan, you can text Miss Patricia. Miss Patricia, give him your phone number.
727-409-7742.
And if you would like tickets to the Innovation Summit, do not miss segment 2. We're going to dive deep into that. But I believe, Tommy, the website is innovationsummit.info.
Yes.
So innovationsummit.info. Please visit that. We're going to dive deep after we take a commercial break on what that's about. But if anyone does want to get in touch with Crossover Church, you can visit Crossover Church on their Facebook page. There's over 16,000 members, tons of great information. We're going to take a commercial break, and we'll be back on Personal Develop in just a moment. Welcome back to the LPT All-Star Radio Show. Hot topic today, profit versus loss. You have not lost me yet. I am Betsy Tinervin. I am your host this weekend. Happy Sunday. We're so glad that you guys are all out there being productive and positive, and we are going to dive in deep into profit and loss today. So we are talking about a different spin on profit and loss with two amazing LPT agents. And Pastor Tommy Colonin is here from Crossover Church. And we talked a little bit about time, Miss Patricia Lugo and Mr. Andrew Sponder. I always have to make sure I don't botch people's last names because that's so horrible. So Sponder is here. They both work Pinellas County, great LPT agents. And we talked a lot about time. And one of the questions that I asked everyone is if you knew your hourly worth. And it's funny because the assessment around the room was kind of a no. I did grow up in a business family starting at 18. And that was the first thing my father taught me was, hey, you really need to know your hourly worth so you can learn to delegate proper tasks. Some things that Andrew and Patricia said that were really great was just that they really invest a lot of time with their clients. I think that is a huge part of the LPT culture is that we do want to provide 100% customer satisfaction. We're going to talk a little bit about personal development, self-growth, and really just being an expert in your craft. And so how do you constantly stay a student of the game in your industry? So Miss Patricia, obviously the real estate game has evolved over 20 years.
A lot. So
back 20 years ago when, people were standing in a room and they were presenting things on paper, we've just evolved so much in the industry. So how have you personally just continued to be a student of the game and become an expert and stay an expert as a real estate agent in the real estate industry?
To keep up with the technology, we had to take classes. We
Love
had
that.
to keep attending seminars, attending, a lot webinars, Zoom classes, and LPT provides so much for us. I mean, I am very, very glad to join this company because it's amazing. If I want to learn, every day there is a class that I can take and attend seminars and then be here on the radio with you.
Oh, I love you, Miss Patricia. I think it is great. I think LPT provides so many resources and then they keep up on what basically we need to know in the industry. So we only have to do half of what we would have to do before. So it is amazing to have a brokerage. And if anyone does want any information about LPT, they can contact Patricia or Andrew. So Andrew, what do you do for personal development? What do you do for self-growth? Because I feel like to be really good in business, we need to keep up on self-growth. What do you do for that?
Well, I continually try and keep up with what is in the news, what is going on. We talked about the development and the changes that the real estate has done over the years. Well, it's even faster than that. It changes monthly. So you definitely want to keep up with what the hot topics are, what's going on, not only financially with the real estate world, but any new laws, any new good things going on, as well as utilizing the tools as well that we have with LPT Realty. I'm continually looking at webinars on a daily basis, and that keeps me up to tune. And I'll even go back and look at old ones just to keep my memory fresh and keep my mind sharp.
Awesome. I love that. And so really what I'm hearing you both say is that obviously tech is important, doing things for yourself is important. So Tommy, a lot of things that you do at Crossover is all these different groups. And one of the groups is the Crossoverpreneur group, where you have this big group of entrepreneurs. And I think there's over 30 people in the Telegram chat now, which is really amazing. And you guys bring in speakers, and we're doing things like we're running a book club, traction, but then you put on some pretty big events. And one of the events coming up is the Innovation Summit. And you're bringing in a bunch of people on a high level entrepreneur scale. And could you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, we live in a gig economy and everybody's trying to look for extra streams of income with inflation and everything. And so, we want to empower people and give them resources and tools. And a lot of it's about exposure. Are you just exposed to the latest technology and some of the things? And, so Peter Lopez, our boy Peter, is going to open up the first general session and talk about AI and Chat GPT and all these different tools that are out there now. Like, how can we use those things to leverage our businesses and also to save us some time? We're talking about time today and help us win instead of have losses, right? So the Innovation Summit, there's going to be a track on real estate that you guys are doing, hosting, you and Jen. There's going to be a track for investing and passive income, one for marketing and branding, one for mindset and soul care. Because a lot of us as entrepreneurs don't always take care of our souls that well, and we get exhausted and tired. And I think the fun part, I got to save this part for the last, we're doing a Shark Tank, and we're going to be investing $100,000. We have some venture capital that's going to go in 3 local businesses. And then there's also going to be about $20,000 of free packages that are going to be given out, including you, Betsy. You're going to give a package. So talk about that.
We are giving a package out. We are going to do, Jennifer Spinelli and I are going to do some time in the podcast studio at our marketing center. We're giving that away. And we also are going to do a walkthrough on some of our renovation projects. So some one-on-one, just like investor training in the real estate game. And I think what's really cool about this event, and, Andrew and Patricia definitely chime in, is when you go to an event, you really want to learn, okay, is someone going to show me how to do what they say, right? You go to all these trainings and they'll train you on different things, but do they give you the roadmap to do it that way? And I do know some of the people speaking, like Travis Doodles, who's doing the marketing and branding piece. He's going to walk people step by step of how to get video engagement and all those different things. And he has over 4 million followers on all of his platforms. And I think some of these other people, even the guy in Tampa that's going to be speaking on innovation districts.
Yeah.
Where we have these real estate pockets in Tampa that the city wants to be developed, and there is maybe additional funding for an investor that wants to invest and do different things like that. So why do you think that that's important, Patricia, to attend different summits and attend different events in reference to maybe your career, or even not necessarily direct to your career, but just learning from all these people that get up and speak about all these different items?
Because they already got there. They, why invent the wheel? We can just model somebody. We can just follow somebody. They already got there. So that's what I like to attend seminars, and especially, this event that's coming up. I will be going there because I'm excited. I want to get the Shark Tank. I'm going to bring the presentation in there so I can, I can learn from the best. And
100%.
Yes,
I agree. And I also think what I love about what you just said too is being around all these other people, right? Being around other people at an event, it is a vibe. It's they manifest great energy. All these people want to hustle, they want to grind, they want to win. What do you think about going to events, Andrew, and learning from different trainers and speakers? Anything that you really enjoy about that process?
It keeps me motivated, keeps me positive. You mentioned the energy that exists within these seminars, And the energy at LPT is just second to none. I mean, the people are very willing, giving, assist you in any way that they can. And it's just a great place and great time to spend with them. I've been meeting people as I go along, and everyone has been more than welcoming, which has been very inspiring to me.
I love that. And I couldn't agree with you more. I think our culture here at LPT is providing value. And I think that our culture is also that you do kind of serve like without expectation. It doesn't matter who's in your downline or who you're partnered with, but you really, as an agent, should help everyone in the industry grow. Because if we are growing together, our whole company is successful. If the whole company is not successful, then it's going to be a problem for all of us individually. So if you have that mindset where we're all working together and we're not necessarily competitors, but we're there to like lift each other up and support, it gets pretty awesome results, I think. And the Innovation Summit, you can find it at innovationsummit.info. You can also go to the Crossover Church Facebook page. You can also go to Eventbrite and just look up Innovation Summit Tampa in the search bar. If you do want more information about that event, you can contact us directly. It's 813-609-0229. We are inviting all LPT people to come out. I think the marketing and branding pieces, as well as if you're not an LPT agent, but you are in the real estate industry, there's going to be a lot of big business owners that talk about marketing and branding and struggles and hurdles and triumphs and all those things that they've gone through. And so I think the real estate industry is really tough right now. And I think that for everybody in the industry, you're really just fighting to like be successful. And I think it's great that you guys are both here. If somebody wants to sell their home for just top dollar and they want to speak to Patricia Lugo, and they also want her to personally drop off a copy of her marketing plan, where could they find you and text you at, Miss Patricia?
At 727-409-7742.
And Mr. Andrew, if someone's a buyer, they're maybe looking to relocate as you relocated, they need to know someone, like, and trust someone basically virtually, you'd be a great person to help with that. Andrew has a buyer magazine of how you can get a low interest rate in today's market. And if someone would like a copy of that, he'd be happy to get you one. How could they contact you to get that magazine?
You can contact me at 727-333-5452.
We are going to, after the commercial break, come back with health and what are healthy issues in business. We're going to take a quick commercial break and we'll be right back. Welcome back to the LPT All-Star Radio Show. I am your host, Betsy Tinervin. Happy to be here with LPT Realty today. Of course, we are bringing you the raw and real of life, business, and of course, real estate. Today, talking profit versus loss in life, business, and real estate. We are also talking about the things you cannot put a direct price tag on in your business, especially, and definitely relating to the real estate industry. Whether you're a buyer, seller, or investor, or an agent looking to jump into the industry, there are a couple things you can't put a price tag on, which is time, personal development, and health. So we touched on time a little bit, like what was your hourly worth? It was kind of a random question. There's no right or wrong answer on this show. We're definitely just having a conversation. And so we do want the listeners to chime in any way possible. If you ever miss one of the episodes of our show or want to comment on any of the people on our show or just communicate with us, you can go to the LPT All-Star Radio Show Facebook page. If you are also a catalyst and a connector in the business industry in Tampa and you like to be on the show, you can again visit the LPT All-Star Radio Show Facebook page. You can also text me at 813-609-0229. And before we dive into health, I do want to read the definition of profit and loss, which is technically taking the total revenue derived from an activity and taking away the total expenses. If resulting figure is negative, you've made a loss. So that is like such like a tough thing to process, right? Because technically in reality, sometimes I think that we definitely take a loss with health. And three things in health, we have mental, spiritual, and physical. And I feel like we do, as we talk about time in business and personal development and health, I feel like the first thing that we do sacrifice is ourself. Andrew, agree or disagree?
No, I very much agree. Yeah, health is very, very important. I try and keep up on the physical side, but now you mentioned the spiritual and the mental side. Mentally, I like to think lately I've done much, much better than what I have done in the past. Spiritual, have not been as good in that aspect, but it is definitely something very, very important and for your health.
And also, just how do you think that your like state of being mental, physical, and spiritual healthy affects like your business?
Well, it definitely affects your business ultimately because you wake up, you're not ready to go, you're not ready to get on with your day. It makes you unproductive, makes you lazy, makes you just not very motivated to get your tasks done, and you'll find excuses to not to do things. And that is something that I want to wake up every day with a positive attitude, a positive mindset, ready to go and be very productive in what I'm doing in my life, whether it's work, whether it is going playing golf, whatever I'm planning on doing for that day.
I love that, Andrew. And Miss Patricia, I think that we should give the listeners like some huge value, right? Like, what is something that you do to really fill your own cup up? Right. So you're pouring in all these clients. You always talk about giving, giving, giving. And so mentally, physically, spiritually, how do you replenish that in your body, your mind, and your spirit in order to continue to give to everyone else?
I take time for me. I take time to just relax. I love to read. I read a lot. Recently, I started going back to church because I was, before I didn't make the time and I didn't have the time. So I feel better and I'm reading. I'm not very religious, but I'm spiritual. So I love to listen to motivational books. I love going to the theater and going boating. So, just sometimes I just sit on the back with my little cat on the back of my house, which I live by the water. She likes to chase lizards and I love to just relax. So taking time for you, it is very, very important because otherwise we just continue to work 24/7 and we can do it. Our health will suffer, and not only our physical, our mental health will suffer. So, and I started exercising again. So we need to make the time. When we said we don't have the time, we just need to make the time, and it's very important.
That was great advice. So now I'm going to come to you, Tommy, and give you some tough questions.
Okay. Uh-oh.
So I think that the hardest part about anyone in leadership is that you really do like pour out mental, physical, and spiritual just into people all day long. And by the time you're on that 6th, 7th, 8th call, and then you have to prep to then fill everyone's cup again, like on Sunday or Wednesday or whatever. Yeah. So let's like be real because the show's raw and real. How do you continue? How do you fill your cup? Because it's like Andrew kind of defined stuff a little bit and then Patricia gave out some advice. So now like you're just giving all day long. Yeah. So what do you do?
Yeah, well, first of all, you got to make sure you get your sleep. Simple thing, not very spiritual, but okay. I get my rest. I got to recharge my battery physically, right? Then on top of that, find healthy ways to process stress. We all go through stress, and a lot of people will self-medicate and they'll pop a pill, they'll drink something, they'll smoke something, and all those things are not going to help your health. You want to find ways to process that in a healthy way. So I work out multiple times a week, but you can't just work out and then eat whatever you want. You also have to try to eat clean, drink a lot of water. I'm not eating a lot of sugar, don't eat a lot of red meat, don't eat pork. I'm not trying to give you some rules, but this is what I've done. When most people see me, they think I'm at least 10 to 15 years younger than what I really am, which is funny. You can't see me, you're just listening to me right now. And then on the spiritual end, be plugged in with some life-giving relationships and be plugged in with your creator. And Andrew said, I got to work on that spiritual part. I recently read this stat, centurions, people that live to be 100 years old, the majority of all of them, one thing they have in common is not just their diet and all that stuff, but they're deeply connected in a faith community. And so this one stat I recently read said the average person that's deeply connected in a church, a faith community, will live on average 14 years longer than someone who's not. Like, that's major. So
That's a big chunk of life.
it is.
I don't want to lose 14 years.
No. So that's why you're coming to Crossover. You're plugged in now.
I think also that
You're going to be 100.
Exactly. I think also, like, with that being said too, is that people also just anywhere that you're plugged in. You know, I think a couple things that were mentioned, whether it's the gym or it's church or it's those peaceful places, it's then about the other people in those places.
Yeah. You gotta
right?
protect that. Have boundaries.
Exactly. So I think that that's where, like, the health for me has been, like, critical in really just taking my group of maybe like 10 to 15 people in my life that I was like seeking advice from or that I was pouring into, and now bringing that down to 5 or 6. You agree?
Yeah, that's good.
And I think that it's a situation where even in real estate, we talk to people all day. So finding that time to, like, shut our brain down, and whether it is plugging into that motivational book or listening to something in the spiritual sense, etc., whatever you're filling yourself with, whether it's food, what you're listening to here around, if you put garbage in, you're going to get garbage out. And I think that people think that it is. It's like, sounds kind of funny, doesn't it, Andrew? Because it's like, well, okay. But, like, I mean, if you eat a Big Mac and fries from McDonald's, like, what comes out is like what you just put in. Like, that's just what it is, right? So if I'm around people, especially in our industry when it gets tough, that are negative, don't have a positive mindset, that also aren't getting their cup filled, that constantly complain, that never have a solution, then that is going to get me to that place. And I'm now really blessed to be around some people that don't have that mentality. Last night was a tough phone call. I called Jennifer. I'm like, yo, I am not in any position to say anything about anything because I'm going to get super out of character. She's like, yo, Betsy, we need to take a step back. We need to think about these things. Like, she can reset me. You know what I mean? Do you have someone like that in your life, Andrew, that can just kind of reset like what you have going on?
My wife, she's my rock. She's definitely there for me and keeps me grounded. So if I go off on a tangent, she'll bring me back.
I believe that.
And she definitely has more of the spiritual side. So I definitely need to follow her lead.
I love that. And Patricia, do you have someone like for you that kind of just brings you back in?
Yes, my wonderful love. He is very supportive. He is my rock. He's very patient with me. He's amazing. So
I love that. So, like, even those people in your life, you know, the people that are closest to us sometimes become like our punching bag. And so in the business world, I think really great business people are emotionally mature. And so they have a sense of emotional maturity. So especially in the real estate world where we're making tough decisions right now, we have to negotiate a little bit harder. We have higher interest rates. We have all these things going on. We have to stay in a very emotional, mature place. So I'm not going to give you everything. You'll hear us after the break. But I do want to make sure that if you're a seller out there and you would like Patricia's active marketing plan, Miss Patricia will be happy to get you a copy. Please give him your cell phone number.
at 727-409-7742.
And if you're a buyer looking to buy a home for Mr. Andrew, could you throw out those digits?
727-333-5452.
And if you're interested in the Innovation Summit, the website is innovationsummit.info. You can also contact me directly for tickets. It's 813-609-0229. And again, wrapping up, profit versus loss. What are the things you cannot put a direct price tag on? When we come back after the break. Welcome back to the LPT All-Star Radio Show. You have not gotten rid of me. Betsy Tinervin, back this weekend with you. Happy to be here. LPT Realty, and again, I'm a part of the Sunshine State Investments team. We are here talking all things profit and loss. And of course, we're being raw and real on all aspects of life, business, and our number one priority in every single thing that we do, because we love it so much, is real estate. So we are here just talking about profit and loss with a little bit of a twist. What are the things in your life that you cannot put a price tag on? What are the things in your business that you can't put a price tag on? What are things in real estate that we can't put a price tag on? One of the things in real estate that really comes to mind is like the vetted vendors that we use. You can't really put a price tag on them because those are the people that we rely getting the transaction from A to B, title, insurance, all of those things. And we are actually going to bring you a vetted panel of real estate experts to the Innovation Summit. The Innovation Summit is May 20th in Tampa. You can go to innovationsummit.info if you are looking for more information, but we're going to bring you an entire real estate resource panel. And I also have two amazing real estate resources here with me today, Miss Patricia Lugo and Mr. Andrew Sponder. I'm so proud of myself that I got your last name right every time. That doesn't happen every show, by the way. And both of them have been talking about three different things with Tommy Colonin with Crossover Church. Three things being time, personal development, and health. So I don't usually let you guys run wild, but I am going to open up the floor for you to speak on any type of final thought that you have on any one of those areas pertaining to life, business, or real estate. So again, just to recap, we talk about time, we talked about personal development and self-growth, and then we also talked about health in the mental, physical, and spiritual sense. Anything, Andrew, that you want to mention?
Well, my parting words would just be have a good balance with business, good balance with life. Appropriately spending the time in both and setting aside time, as was talked before, to spend time for yourself, because you definitely need that downtime to wind down and recharge yourself and get going for the next day. So having a good balance between work and yourself.
And also, just kind of to piggyback off that, Andrew, I feel like when you are working and you're doing things that you love, they're not always things that make you money. They're what make you passionate about, like, your purpose and your gifts. So what's something that you love about the real estate industry?
The satisfaction of solving a client's needs, getting them the house that they wanted for the price that they wanted, being able to get them into a place that they thought they might not be able to afford, and still being able to work around their means and get them a place that they absolutely love. Just seeing the smiles on their face when they walk through the door of their place for the first time.
Love that.
It's priceless. You can't put a price tag there.
That's great. All right, Tommy. So we had time, personal development, health, self-growth. We talked about all the jams and just profit and loss in general. So what do you got for me?
Yeah, I would say leaders are readers. And I would challenge you, all the listeners out there, what are you reading right now? You need to be feeding yourself and continually growing. We call it CE, continuing education. If you're out there and you're like, well, I'm not a big reader. Well, there's audiobooks, there's podcasts to listen to. There's, blogs. There's people on social media you can follow that are posting interesting articles. And so I'm always kind of pulling from a wide range of different things to stay educated, to stay on the cutting edge of what's going on in life and culture as I'm trying to lead people and be a leader. I've got to, like you say, Betsy, I got to fill my cup regularly. I got to be learning new information. I may not be an expert on everything, but I got to be in the know and on the edge of what's happening next.
And why do you think that someone would really get their cup filled at the Innovation Summit?
There's going to be a lot of that next information there that you're going to be like, oh, I didn't know about that. Or I've heard about that, but I wanted to learn more about that. Or, there's so many. If you go to the website, you can click on the workshops. And there's 12 workshops that day that are going to be happening. You'll see the titles and the descriptions. And there's going to be, trust me, there's going to be so much good stuff. There's only 2 breakouts. You're going to be like, oh my goodness, I only get to pick 2, And then there's going to be great TED Talks that are going to be in the general sessions and great networking time. We're going to have lunches included. There's a big area to have lunch.
What's the cost of this, Tommy? It must be hundreds of dollars.
No, we wanted to make it really affordable for entrepreneurs, aspiring entrepreneurs. It's only $25 and it includes lunch. If you want to do the VIP ticket, that gets you seating in the front. That's $50, and you get to have lunch in a private setting with the speakers.
But it's legit 9 to 4.
Yep, super
it's a full
affordable.
Day.
Yep, a lot of value.
A lot of value. And I think one thing that you just didn't mention just now is someone speaking on ChatGPT as well.
Yes.
So it's not like the tech stuff that you mentioned, Patricia. Like, there's so many great things that are going to be presented: the branding, the marketing, the social media stuff, the ChatGPT, the actual local business owners. I love when we do local community events in our community, and I've been to several of them. Another group, Maximum Group with LPT, they just did a local event with local vendors. I love when you walk into a local event and you want to get plugged in and you have all the local people right there.
Yep, right there.
At your fingertips.
We got some of the best people in the Tampa Bay area, influencers and everything that are going to be sharing what they know. It's going to be
So innovationsummit.org, you can visit the website. You can contact me directly. I'm sorry. I lied. Innovationsummit.info, or you can contact me directly, 813-609-0229. And Miss Patricia, you always have something like so sweet and insightful to say, whether it's about your clients or your business or your industry. I loved having you the first time. I've loved having you back. So time, personal development, health, mental, physical, spiritual, life, business, real estate. You can speak about anything that your heart desires.
Well, like Andrew said, I love real estate because I love to help people. And I'm bilingual, so I speak Spanish, and I want to help the Spanish community to get their dream home. Because it's, a lot of them, they don't know that there's a lot of resources out there. And right now, the government has a lot of money for first-time home buyers. So if they want to, own a home, call me, and I'll be glad to help them.
I love that. So we have lots of resources for you today. If you are looking for your first home and you would like resources in reference to that, as well as a maybe possible buyer magazine, you could always contact Miss Patricia. Patricia, could you give everyone your cell phone number, please?
727-409-7742.
And Mr. Andrew, who I've said the last name right the entire show, Sponder, LPT agent, Pinellas County. If you're a seller and you're looking to sell your home for top dollar, Andrew has a marketing plan. He would love to get you a direct copy of that. Andrew, could you throw out your cell phone number?
727-333-5452.
And Tommy Colonin, I'm coming to you for some final thoughts today.
Okay. Uh-oh.
So I really do think that there's like this misconception with like leaders and social media. And then especially when you tell people, like, even when you sat down to like, oh, what do you do? And you go, I'm a pastor at Crossover Church. And they're like, ah.
Yeah.
I think there's this misconception that those P words go together, that A, that you're like perfect, and B, that like as a leader, everything goes smooth. Just because, Tommy, you just sit back and you pray about it and everything just goes great. That's what happens, right?
No, absolutely not. There's people involved. And so I'm a person too. So we all can have stress at moments. There's deadlines to meet. There's emergencies. There's crises, especially in, I said we're in the people business. That's real estate as well. And you have emergencies that pop up even with your clients, right? Same thing happens with parishioners at a church when somebody's going through a health crisis, or somebody passed away, or someone's in a car accident, or someone's in the hospital, or, there's always stuff to try to navigate and deal with on top of all the regular stuff that you have to get done. And so that's why it's good to have a strong team, and a team that's around you to support you. And like you said, Betsy, a group of people that are going to be positive. And I liked what you said about they're going to find solutions, because anybody can identify the problems, but real leaders define the solutions. And so you want to have some leaders around you in your life. Check out what your circle really looks like, your inner circle. There may be some people you need to shift out, and get some new people in your inner circle that are really going to help you win.
And I also think the one person you didn't mention that's also going to be at the Innovation Summit would be yourself.
Yes.
And you've written how many books now?
Written 6 books. I'm going to do a TED Talk about perspective, and having the right frames on and perspective, even in this economy where we have higher interest rates, right? Real estate people, we have prices that are high, everything's high, and it's challenging. It's challenging for people. How do you still have the right frames on and say, even in this economy, we can still find a way to win and find solutions and help people achieve their dreams? It's possible.
Well, if you do not show up to the Innovation Summit, I know that my new guy, Andrew, and Patricia will both be there. I will be there. I'm excited to not only present, but actually like be a student of the game. Tommy, you better not go when I'm going, because I want to come listen to what you have to say. So I'm lucky because I'm a little close to the person making the schedule. But it's going to be so exciting. Innovationsummit.org, or you can contact me directly. I'm sorry. Innovationsummit.info, or contact me directly at 813-609-0229. Andrew and Patricia, amazing having you here. Make sure you contact them if you're a buyer, seller, and investor in the Tampa Bay area. And we are signing off for today. Have a blessed and happy weekend. We will catch you next week.